everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari ST A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari ST games, some which I grew up with and some which are new to me. Today is one of the former. Today we're looking at E-Motion. This was a 1990 release by the Assembly line. It was available for Amiga, Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64, MS-DOS PC, ZX Spectrum, Game Boy, and of course Atari ST. On some platforms it was known as the Game of Harmony. I think the Game Boy version was called that. And prior to release it was called Sphericule as well, but the version I know is called E-Motion, and that's probably the most widespread version in my experience, I think. So E-Motion is a very early example of a physics-based puzzle game featuring arcade elements. So you sort of control the game a bit like you do in stuff like Asteroids and so on with turn and thrust controls. But it's all based on physics. So you sort of bounce things around and you're trying to knock coloured balls into each other. So the game is very noteworthy for its realistic representation of the transfer of kinetic energy. So sort of things can bang into each other and they can transfer the energy between them, and that responded in what was considered to be a very realistic way for the time. And it's still pretty impressive now considering the hardware it's running on. So, and that's where the E in the title comes from. The E in the title is for Einstein. It's named after his famous theory of relativity, which is all to do with energy and maths and that sort of thing. So it's very relevant to the concept of the game itself. So let's take a look at the packaging. Here we are. This is the UK release from US Gold. This was released by, I think it was Accolade in North America. But yeah, the version we got over here is by US Gold. Here's the back, a couple of screenshots. And let's see what it says. So, welcome to the first new age computer game. Take it easy. E-Motion is here to entertain, not enrage. To expand your mind, not explode it. E-Motion, brackets E is for Einstein, takes you to a world outside the stress and tension of the 1990s, a new age. Here you can play to win or simply to enjoy the ever-changing kaleidoscope of rich colours and infinite patterns. Infinite is spelled wrong. E-Motion allows you to manipulate nature, moving through 50 levels of multicoloured puzzles and challenges. E-Motion is for everyone who likes to win, but also wants to see the 21st century. 50 levels including 3 types of bonus level, unique ray-traced graphics, 4-channel sampled sound, compatible with AdLib sound card on PC, simultaneous 2-player option, realistic elastic moulding of motion, 32 colours on the Amiga version, hidden secret bonuses. E-Motion, the game which does for computers what Einstein did for particle physics. And according to Gary Penn from The One magazine, E-Motion is a work of genius, simply unbelievable. Very good. All right, well, it's not actually a lot in this box. So that's the entire content. So the game comes on just one disc, like that. It is, doesn't say. Virus warning, power off computer before loading this software. This was quite a common thing on discs of the time. There was a lot of paranoia over viruses and so on. So, to be honest, most games wouldn't load properly if you didn't power off your computer completely before you put them in. So it was kind of redundant, but yeah, they felt obliged to sort of put that on there anyway as well. We've got the old anti-piracy logo on there as well. Piracy is theft. The instruction book is actually just a crappy sheet of paper, and that covers, I think, 4 different languages. Can't find English. Here we are. Scenario. E-Motion takes place in the subatomic world where particles can be brought into existence, accelerated, collided and destroyed. Strange elastic bonds can form between particles and complex lattices will block your path. But beware, nothing is stable in this strange world, and only the most experienced and expert nuclear pilots can prevent particle meltdown. So we'll see how this works when we come to it, but yeah, the basic concept of E-Motion is that you're matching colours to each other. So if you remember Vaccine that we looked at a while back, this is actually the predecessor to Vaccine. So Vaccine unfolded in 3D and involved seeking out coloured balls and then shooting them with the right colour of balls. In this one there are sort of... I'm going to be saying balls a lot, so you're going to have to deal with it. There are pairs of balls floating around in the level, and you have to knock them around with your ship. And you have to knock like coloured ones together, and that makes them disappear. If you knock 2 balls together that are of different colours, then you'll create a pod that will eventually turn into another full-size ball. So you've got to be careful not to do that. I think in some later levels you might actually have to do that, but certainly in the early ones you want to try and avoid doing that. On anything other than the lowest difficulty level as well, you have to do it quickly before they explode. Otherwise you'll lose energy, and that's part of the game that I always found quite stressful, which goes against what it was saying on the back of the box, really, wasn't it? But yeah, if you want a minimal stress game, you can just play on the easy mode if you want to. So the only other thing we've got in the box here is this. Every game meets the gold standard for US Gold. Now, anyone who's familiar with US Gold may question that statement somewhat, but there are some cool stuff in here. So we've got things like Dragons of Flame and Pool of Radiance. Those are two Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games, early Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games. We've got Hillsfar in there as well. That's another D&D game. Then we've got Forgotten Worlds. That was actually quite a good port from what I remember. Battle of Britain and Maniac Mansion, so two of the old LucasArts games there. Games from Epix as well. So US Gold was, I don't know, they were kind of weird. They had a reputation for putting out a load of crap, but they also brought a lot of stuff over from the States from US publishers, hence their name. That was where their name originally came from. And so, yeah, this catalogue really highlights sort of a lot of the better stuff that they were bringing across. So we got things like the Indiana Jones games there, and Ghouls and Ghosts as well. Those were both very good games. Some of their coin-up conversions, less good. And unfortunately, that's one of the things they're more well known for today. But they actually put out a few crackers in their time. So if anyone's overly negative about US Gold, just point them in the direction of stuff like Emotion and those D&D games and so on. And yeah, there's some really good stuff amongst their back catalogue. Anyway, enough talk. Let's go play Emotion.
Okay, here we are with Emotion, conceived, designed and programmed by the assembly line and released by US Gold in this country. As I say, I think this came out by Accolade in North America. So, instructions. If left, the balls explode and cost you energy. Collide same colour balls to destroy them. Different colours generate a pod of the third colour. Run over pods for extra energy. Pods expand into new balls if left. And that's it. That's all you need to know to play this game. So, you can play this with two players simultaneously if you want to as well. As usual, I'm by myself, so we won't be doing that. You can play it on normal, practice, or demo. So the practice mode, the balls don't explode. So you can just sort of relax with it. So here we are in the first level. So you control the little ship that's got the ball attached to it, and you just have to knock the balls into each other before they explode. And this first one sort of shows a good example of some of the physics at work. So those things, connecting them together, those are elastic bands. And you'll see if you send them off the side of the screen, the elastic bands will stretch. And that's probably going to cost me all my energy. There we go. So good start, huh? Right, let's try and do better. Oh, I've messed this up big time. I practiced this just before I started recording. And I was doing fine with it. And now I've just made a real old cock of it, haven't I? Anyway. I always felt like this game kind of started you off quite harshly with those rubber bands in place. Because they're quite tricky to deal with. Right, do it right this time, please. This is why I also question its sort of description as a new age relaxing game, because it's fucking infuriating sometimes. You don't have a lot of time to sort all this stuff out either. Well, this is going well, isn't it? Honestly, I swear to you, like I say, I practiced this just before we started here, and I was doing perfectly fine with it. Come on, collide. Not with me, all with the orange ones. Oh, what a disaster this is. I think we're going to die again. But hopefully you can get an idea for what this game's all about. Game over. I can do better than that. I'm pretty certain I can do better than that. Let's just try that again, shall we? I somehow got a high score for that, though. I don't feel I deserve that, but never mind. Right, again. Normal. Right, that's how you do it. You give it a bit of oomph. Or you can actually use the sort of twangy elastic stuff to your advantage. If you knock one off the bottom of the screen, for example, that will often knock them together as well. There we go, that's more like it. So on this level you can see your ship is actually connected by one of these elastic bands, but that breaks as soon as you get rid of one of the ones that are attached to you. So you can then proceed to deal with the other one accordingly. Carefully. There we go. Now we're getting it. Donk. Again, carefully. Tonk. And then we can probably tonk this with the wraparound. There we go. Beautiful. Bonus level. Blue pod, bonus points. Yellow pod, no points. So, this is what I like to think of as the bomb jack level. You have to try and collect the blue ones first to get some bonus points. And try and avoid collecting the yellow ones, which are not worth anything. And of course you've got a strict time limit in which to do that as well, so... Oh, not bad, only 2 left. Right. So this one, we're going to have to use the wraparound again. So, carefully. Just, nope, a bit too far. It's okay though. It's okay. It's all fine. It's all fine. Boop. And then this one, we knock that up like this. Not knock it up, but you know what I mean. Oh, this one is a pain. So this one we have to sort of twang over there like that, and then I think again you can sort of use the elastic properties in this one to your advantage. Oh, it's gonna blow. They're gonna blow. No! There we go. It's alright. It's all fine. But you will notice that your energy carries over to the next level, so you don't get a full energy refresh just for reaching the next level, unfortunately. Oh no! That is where you will want to start collecting some of those pods, however, if you can, before they turn into another thing. I don't think we're going to survive this one, are we? Clearly not. Oh! Ouch! Right, let's try that again. because that was terrible. So we want to... I don't know how to do this one. No, that's not the way, is it? Can I get this one away from the... Oh, God. It's happening again, Margaret. I guess you can sort of go over the top of the... Oh, no! I guess you can sort of try and go over the top of the pipe in the middle. Let's try that. So if we... No, because that just ends up down there too quickly. Oh, no! I think this may be where our emotion journey ends today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no! Well, I got an extra life. Again, not that I think I deserve it after this nonsense. Oh, God. I can feel death coming for me. How the hell do you do this? Yeah, like that maybe. Preferably without creating any of the pods along the way. You've got so little time to do it. Alright, again, if we can ping those off there. You just got to get them away from the wall, haven't you? They're going to blow and kill me. Right, a little less power. No. Right, there's one. But with the amount of new ones that are being created, that doesn't really help all that much, does it? Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, God. You get the idea. I'm gonna have one more go at this because I do rather like it. I mean, it is infuriating, but I do rather like it. Right. Nothing we can really change there, and you can't skip to a later level, I don't think. So let's just have another go. So success in this is all about sort of figuring out sort of a combination of things like power and angle and all that sort of thing. So it's a lot like it's basically a lot like pool in many ways, only rather than sort of controlling the cue and that sort of thing, you're actually physically controlling the cue ball in effect. Oh, no, 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 no. So in that respect, I guess you can sort of consider it like a successor to Pool Shark, which we've looked at on the Atari A to Z Flashback series. It was a very old Atari arcade game in which you controlled the cue ball on a pool table. And it was described by its creator as being almost entirely unlike pool. But it was a fun and addictive game in its own right. Because it wasn't really trying to be a proper authentic simulation of how you play pool in reality. Excuse me. And yeah, it really worked well because of that. Oh no, come on. Oh, so little time. Right, let's try again. So, boom! You just got to kind of have confidence and go for it, I think. Because if you spend too long being precise and trying to line yourself up, then you just won't have time to do anything. There we go. Right, bonus level time. Let's see what we can do this time. Nom 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 nom, blue, lovely blue dots. Nom 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 nom. For some reason, the sound of the ship turning in this is one of those sound effects that's really sort of stuck in my head over the years. Perfect! 10,500 bonus points. Which is, I don't know, I mean, I could never get this game running on our ST for some reason. I don't know what it was, if it was like a TOS incompatibility, or if it was our disk drive, or if it was the model of ST we had. There were so many sort of weird compatibility issues when it came to the ST that certain games just would not run on certain systems. Oh! And this was one of them. So I don't know if we just had a dodgy disk or whatever, because I've had no problems getting this version running. This emulated version. But yeah, the copy I showed you in the intro, I'm yet to get it working properly on either of the two STs I own. I've got an ST E and a Atari ST, the original model, before the floppy drive was included. And it won't run on either of them. And I don't really know why. It doesn't like bomb out. It will load like up to the title screen or something, but it won't go any further than that. And it's kind of impossible to work out why, because like there's no error message or anything. So anyway, at least I can still enjoy this game via emulation, which is one of many solid arguments in favour of game preservation and the sterling work of groups like Automation over the years, who put out cracked versions of these games on menu discs, so that if you couldn't get a retail copy working, chances are a pirate version from a group like Automation or someone like that would work. Because as well as cracking them, they often patch them as well to make them work on a wider variety of systems. Yeah, again, I don't think we're going to have the time to do this properly. There's just no time to do this level. Yeah, and if you bump that initial one too hard, you end up with another pod coming out, which causes all sorts of difficulties. And then they keep bouncing around, and then more keep appearing. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And worse. And worse. Yeah, this is literally impossible. I wonder if it's possible to like counterbalance the amount of damage you take by collecting a bunch of those pods. Oh, I don't know. I'm certainly not going to get through this level playing it like this. What on earth? How on earth are you ever supposed to do this? Utterly ridiculous. But as I said, even if you're feeling sort of constant failure in this game, there's this sort of I see what they mean. There is a sort of nice, relaxing feeling about the game, even if it's frustrating and impossible to progress in. There is quite a nice sort of relaxing feeling of sort of floating around and knocking those spheres around the place and so on. I should have used the word spheres instead of the word balls all through this video, shouldn't I? It would have been much less puerile, but whatever. Anyway, that is Emotion by the Assembly Line, published by US Gold in the UK, Accolade in the US. Worth a go. Worth a go. It is infuriating and frustrating, but it's also kind of cool. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. New episodes of Atari A to Z are on Tuesdays and Atari ST A to Z on Thursdays. Check out atariatoz.wordpress.com for a full archive. Do please also check out my other projects moegamer.net, where I explore Japanese and Japanese-inspired games from yesterday and today, and videopackgames.wordpress.com, which aims to catalogue a small but well-formed library of the Philips G7000 Videopack computer, also known as the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You can also support my work on Patreon or buy me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.